I went to Yale for undergrad. I did teach for America in the Mississippi Delta, and I went to Harvard Law School after that. I have been doing admissions consulting work for a decade now. I've placed students into pretty much every top school and just had two clients get into Harvard last year. But I've worked with students across the range and think it's really important that we're helping every student find their dream school, not just trying to get everyone into the top school possible for them. I promptly finished law school, passed the bar, and decided not to be a lawyer. I really missed education, which is why I got into admissions consulting work. But in terms of specialty, while I was in law school and in my summer jobs, was financial regulation on the consumer side. So I spent one summer with the Securities Exchange Commission, another summer with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I actually worked with Liz Warren. She was my contracts professor, and something she had told me was that, I enjoyed education as the sort of leveling the playing field for students, then financial regulation is the way we level playing field for adults. And so I really took that to heart. And while I loved that work, I missed getting to work with students and cultivating folks directly. So at Harvard, the curve is pretty flat. About half the class gets passed, a third gets honors, and then the top 2 to 5 students get what's called a Dean Scholar Prize, at least when I was there. I did get Dean Scholar Prizes in my torts class, my criminal law class, a social entrepreneurship class, and another class on child welfare law. A couple of things. The first is to understand that your first year grades are the most important because the job you get going into your 2L summer when you have your first year grades is likely going to be the place you work at after law school. To that end, I think it's super important to understand that prepping for the exam is very different from prepping for classes. When you're prepping for the class, you're dealing with one case at a time, but prepping for exam really means putting those cases in context of a broader body of law, but it also means the skill of being able to analyze fact patterns and compare those to the cases, understand the similarities and differences, why the court might come out on one side, why it might come out on the other based on the cases you know. So being able to take that day-to-day prep and then translate it to the exam is super important. I think on a broader level, the key to success in law school is to also take courses you're interested in. Don't do something because you think you have to. Try to get a handle on different practice areas and really figure out what kind of lawyer you want to be, and then specialize in those courses and enjoy yourself. Ultimately, I think it comes down to the fact that I'm an educator at heart. I have 2 years in the classroom and over a decade of experience, both in law school admissions consulting, but also with the high school level as well, and other education work. And so I'm really invested with figuring out how to draw out students as people and help them figure out where they're going. I think I have a really keen idea of how to draw out narratives. Most of what we're doing in admissions is trying to sell your story to the admissions committee, both in the personal statement and the perspective statement. And so understanding, getting at the root of a story, what the actual challenge you faced is, what this shows of you as a person, and how it shows that you're ready for law school and going to contribute to law school is something that I specialize in. It comes down to the fact that I'm an educator. I'm someone who fundamentally believes in the ability and have a passion for drawing out people's strengths and helping them figure out who they are as people and what they want to do. And especially someone who went to law school and then ended up not being a lawyer, I think it's really important to have someone who can give you a perspective of, well, let me tell you, why you should go to law school, or maybe why you should take a step back and consider, and make sure that by the time we submit the application, you're fully committed, you know what you're getting yourself into, and you have a plan for the future.